Hello, and welcome to the Victorious Living Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Nikeya Young, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I have a great topic for us to talk about, and today's topic is called Main Character Energy. Main Character Energy. Okay, so this was actually a TikTok trend, I believe, around the time the pandemic started. I don't know. People were doing so many TikTok trends because we were bored in the house and in the house more. But this was floating around and it's still gaining some traction on the socials. And I just love the term. And like any colloquialisms or, there's good and bad connotations with any term. It depends on the context in which the term is used, who's saying it, and all of that. So main character energy, I have actually seen it by and large used in a positive context. Basically describing someone who is confident, who is everyone's eye is naturally drawn to the person, the life of the party, the most fashionable person. I've also heard it used in terms of self-care and self-love and basically coming into your own, so to speak. You're the main character in your story. And so you're treating yourself like the protagonist and you're doing the necessary steps to make sure that your main character wins at the end of the day. Just thinking of how you would see it on a movie or in a television show or something of that nature. Then I've also seen people use main character, the term main character energy, I should say, in a negative sense. And when it's used in a negative connotation, it means someone who is I'm all that in a bag of chips and I'm trying to center myself in every story or in things that have nothing to do with me. Basically, meaning that the main character energy the person is giving off is in a narcissistic kind of vibe or at the expense of others. For the purposes of today's podcast, I am going to use main character energy in a positive sense because I absolutely love that. And we're going to explore, what does it mean to have main character energy? How do you know if you have main character energy or not? Here are some signs that show that you just might be a main character energy type. First sign is you're naturally a leader, just a natural born leader without even trying. Even when you try to sit back in the cut and not say anything, people look for your opinion. If you were in school and you said, okay, I'm not going to answer every question because people are starting to get annoyed. I'm just going to sit this one out. And then the teacher goes, and Mary, what do you think? And you're just like, oh man. If those kind of experiences have happened to you, you just might have main character energy, and that's okay. Another thing that could be a sign that you have main character energy is, antagonists show up out of nowhere. This is a big one. Antagonists show up out of nowhere. So, in stories and in movies and television shows, there's a protagonist that everyone roots for. That's the main character. And then there's the antagonist that has some kind of conflict with the protagonist. And we're just like, oh, what's going to happen? Is our protagonist going to overcome this situation? So if you're just kind of minding your own business, this is how this shows up at work. If you're minding your own business and you're really trying to do a good job, be a good employee, dotting all your I's and crossing your T's and just doing the best you know how, not really making too many waves, but then you suddenly have haters, like coworkers that are just like, ooh, we don't like her. And you're just like, I don't know you. What do you mean? like that kind of thing happens to you often, you may have main character energy. So now that we've talked about that and how you might experience it, how others might experience your main character energy. And this is important because we're with ourselves all the time. So it's hard for us to step outside of ourselves and try to see ourselves from someone else's point of view. When you have main character energy, you may or may not have often been told you're intimidating. And if you've been told that, a good question to ask is why or how, or can you explain how you feel that I'm intimidating? And when you ask that, usually you may hear responses that don't have anything to do with you necessarily doing anything to anyone that's intimidating per se. It's just they were intimidated. That's a big difference. Am I really intimidating, or were you just intimidated? Yeah. So people projecting their insecurities onto you will happen to you often if and when you have main character energy. That can be really tough to navigate. And all that is if you possess a certain level of confidence, or like I like to say, Godfidence. Shout out to Marshawn Evans Daniels. If you possess that level of Godfidence about you, certain people gravitate toward that and say, oh my God, that's amazing. I wish I had that. And the same thing that gives them this gravitational pull towards you can also repel them. It can go from being this sense of admiration and wow, I really admire that, to I'm tired of her. I'm tired of him, thinking he's all that. And you're the same person, you didn't change. But the perspective that that person or those people looked at you with changed based on something that was going on the inside of them. Not anything personally that you did. When you have main character energy, who child, you get to walk in love a lot. That's what I'll say. That's the responsibility that comes with this energy. You didn't ask for it. You're just being yourself. You're just healing and drinking your coffee and going to therapy and minding your business, and you're just flourishing and growing. And a result of that is, you develop this main character energy, this anointing about yourself that makes you very influential, that makes you a great leader, that makes you really good at your job, that makes you everyone's go-to. And some people are just going to be jealous of the way other people love you, the way other people react to you, the level of influence that you have. When you have main character energy, you have to have a strong prayer life, I would say, because you don't want your main character energy to turn into a spirit of haughtiness. You don't want to become judgmental of other people who are reacting to you in a negative way. It's hurtful to have people have a negative perception of you when you really have the best intentions. And that can be hard to navigate. You have to walk in forgiveness. You have to do the 7 times 7. Because by the time you forgive one person and deal with one incident, another arises. It can happen at church. It can happen at work. It can happen wherever you are because the main character energy follows you. So, forgiveness, prayer, and encouraging others. Your main character energy is not just for you. You are blessed to be a blessing. So every main character has supporting roles, right? Some people are really comfortable in supporting roles, like introverts. They don't have to be the main character ever. They like quietly beasting in the corner, like they're doing their thing. They don't have to be center stage. They don't have to get the recognition. They're completely content in a supportive role, knowing that they're really running the show from behind the scenes. And then there are some people who are in supporting roles, but they're not really content with supporting roles. They really do want to grow into a main character. And so if you have main character energy already, God can use you to help draw certain people out of their shell and encourage them and lift them up, to be looking around to see who can you develop, like who can I develop, who can I work with, who can I encourage. It can't always be about you. So these are things that you have to be cognizant of when you have main character energy. And you can be often misunderstood. But when you have a heart to serve others, that's always going to go far. That's going to get you very, very far. And so those are the people that you're going to have to focus on. There's going to be people that misunderstand you and just, but if you have a servant's heart, the people that you've been helping, the way you've been recognizing people in supporting roles, the way you've been lifting other people up, that's going to speak for you. And it's not going to matter what a few haters have to say, people who are trying to disparage your character, the antagonists in your life that pop up out of nowhere. Their word's not going to go far, because you're going to have more people that can speak good of you than people that will speak ill of you. So, my main character energy people, be encouraged and lift up as you climb, and you will continue to go far. God bless you, and thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is Nikeya Young for the Victorious Living Solutions podcast, and I will see you next time. Keep living victoriously. Bye, everybody.